the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of This is CorbinCenter. I'm going to kick off this Corbinite Recognition, and by the way, I'm not contractually obligated to put this person, but it's somebody who I feel has my back and I deep down have theirs, and they know the reason why, and I just want to say thank you for always being at least in my corner or maybe in the corner of a ring where things are visible. John, you are my Corbinite Recognition. But you know, before I was filming this episode, I was getting a couple things on Twitter or X or whatever. I refuse to call it X. I was getting a couple things where people were asking where I was, and I mean, I was sitting right here. I had just gotten done with a run. I'm keeping busy. I'm getting ready to go to Columbus for a GalaxyCon, and people were like, "Where's Corbin?" And you know, I was curious. Maybe people thought something happened to me, or people thought something happened to my brother. You know, that could always happen. People confuse us all the time. But it turns out that there was an event, and no, I was not there, and that's okay, you know. Like we got other things going on, they got other things going on. It's not the first time that they've come to town and they haven't used me, and that's all right. I mean, I'm sure that they found people that they could use for any role that they need, which is okay. I got other stuff, I got other irons in the fire, and that's great. At least this time. I didn't have to bleed profusely the next day after that all happened, but I digress. If you are looking for me on national TV and when the National Wrestling Company comes to town and you don't see me used, you can see me January 2nd on Fox's news game show, The Floor. I mean, isn't that exciting? So many of you were watching football on Thanksgiving, and you saw an ad for The Floor, and many people messaged me, and they're like, I think I just saw you, or some people said they think that they just saw my twin, which, if you could imagine, two of me, that would be trouble. But no, it was me, and yes, I will be a participant on The Floor. I'm one of the many that was selected. And so I'm going to be excited. I think you should be excited watching and see just how well I do. Now, that is exciting news. That is exciting. And that wasn't even all of my holiday weekend. So I had Pro Wrestling Battleground. And I think everyone should be thankful for Corbin cometh. We have given stability to a tag division that was hot potatoed worse than 1999 WWF's tag division. And I think some people assumed that NDS was going to take the belts back off of us. I mean, there's an Instagram account for somebody who is NDS' biggest fan, which, by the way to aim the bar low. If you're making your whole personality about that tag team, congratulations. I think somebody should tell you that you could be anything you want. Or actually, somebody with that moniker probably can't be much. So, I mean, maybe this is your ceiling, which is sad. Some people's ceilings are the floor that I'm going to be on Fox. All right, so back to it. So we beat NDS. Corbin cometh, I feel, is still not getting the recognition that they deserve in the Twin Cities as far as being one of the best local teams in Minnesota. And again, we have retained and we've given stability, and we weren't even done that night. So we went into the Rice Street Rumble. Remember, I've won this one before. So going into the Rice Street Rumble, Lord unfortunately got the early pick, and it took a lot to get him out. Big Humble, I'm sure we'll cross paths, but what you did to my friend? No, don't think I didn't see it. But he was giving Baba chops everywhere. Boom, he was a man possessed. He was throwing people out, all this stuff. And then they finally had to gang up and take out Lord, but when I came in, I'm pretty smart, pretty savvy to these battle royals, which allowed me to evade, watch Connor Hopkins get eliminated, and that left me and Frontman Jaw as the final two. Now in 2021, we were the final two back then, but there was one thing that was different this time when the two of us were in that ring. And I'm actually quite shocked by this because, look, I'm not one to pander to anybody, but there was a pretty loud "Let's go Corbin" chant, which I feel after all this time, people are looking for a change, or maybe looking for that stability again that we've given the tag division back to the championship picture. Maybe it's gotten a little stale with you, Ja. Maybe the deal is they've seen everything that you're going to give them. Maybe the front man needs to emote a little bit more to make them rally behind you, but it looked like they were all ready for a change. And granted, I can't even say you were the better man that night, because battle royals are just a glorified parkour scheme, and those things, just one wrong move. It doesn't take much to get somebody out. You didn't have to pin me for 3 seconds. You didn't have to make me submit. You just had to make sure that you got my feet to touch the ground, which you did. So congratulations, you won the Rice Street Rumble. And I have been in the final 2 4 times, winning 1 Rice Street Rumble. But I think it shouldn't go unnoticed that I was the people's choice in Pro Wrestling Battleground. And first of all, they're smart to think that way. They know just what that company needs. They've seen what I've done at First Wrestling. They've seen my success elsewhere. They know that when I go someplace, and they acknowledge the fact that I am the only Grand Slam winner in Pro Wrestling Battleground history. And maybe, just maybe, they're waiting for that resurgence to when I can get another championship match. Now, first and foremost, I have dedication and goals to being the best tag team there. Laura and I have that. I've been a 3-time Battleground champion. I'm not going to say that wearing 2 championships wouldn't fit somebody of my caliber, but I do have goals of my own. But if that championship match does come my way, I'm the kind of guy who could defend the tag championships and win another championship in the same night. That's a challenge. That's a challenge to Bill Williams. That's a challenge to frontman Ja if he manages to pull off the victory. Ja, I will throw my name in the hat and be first in line if you're willing to give me that shot and prove to the fans and everybody that you deserve to be there. Because right now, just think, come January, no matter if you win or if you lose, they're going to wish that I was in that spot. And Bill, if you retain, you going to give me that spot? You can give me that shot? Or do you want to see me earn it? Because I will, because I'm winning at Battleground. I am winning at Battleground, big time. But I have a lot of other things that I need to focus on. I told you I'm going to Columbus for GalaxyCon. That's going to be great to be back. I also have my match announced with Chico Suave at Freelance, defending the Legacy Championship. And I have created a legacy very superior to many there. But now it looks like a lot of these young guys are going to be gunning for me because they're going to want to prove that they can knock me off the top of the mountain. And they're going to hope that this cements their legacy. Well, you're a young guy, Chico, and I understand. I love the ambition, and I welcome anybody, and I challenge all the young people that are at Freelance. Come at me, come for me. I knew what I was getting into when I took that championship from Brian Keith. I'm ready for you. And then I returned to Second Wrestling, and you got my thoughts on this one. I still believe that this is nothing more than a glamour project, and that they're using my name to try and build interest because, let's face it, the second half of the year for Second Wrestling, what really happened? There was a championship match, and I'm pretty convinced that the champion, Eric Cannon, doesn't even know that his championship was switched. I mean, Misa, you got that belt, and you're going to defend against the former champion, Billy Starks. And, Billy, do you remember who cost you that championship? Hopefully you didn't forget. Because if you forget, the past can come back to haunt you when the time comes. Because remember, when I win my match, whatever it may be at Second Wrestling, I get a future championship match. So I'll be watching that one very closely. Then I go to Time Bomb Miracle on 34th Street. It's a fight where I go against Badger Briggs. Badger, I saw that you commented on my comment of your video, and you said you weren't going to watch my video. I would suggest maybe you should hear my words. Maybe you should learn from the veterans around. Maybe you should listen to people, because aren't you 0-2 against me? Didn't your friend turn on you? Didn't you lose a championship match there? I mean, if I were you, I would be trying to get any help I could possibly find. You did make a comment that you said you would go after my broken collarbone, the bad shoulder. And even with that game plan, you still couldn't beat me. Well, I guess it was a lot easier to go for your bad leg than it was for you to go to my bad shoulder. So, Badger, I would maybe hear my words, because a lot of people have listened to me and they think that I'm going to pull off a huge victory over you, and I won't even need to sucker you in like Connor Hopkins did. And then I go to Destination Pro, and I wonder, is there anything more that I need to say about this? I still think it's a bad decision, Josh, that you're getting in the ring. I still think it's a poor decision. Pride is a terrible motivator. But if there's ever a guy, just like when Lesnar broke the streak, if there was ever a guy that can bear that burden of when he puts you in the hospital and injures you and ends your career, because you're going in hurt, and I'm not going to be held responsible for what Laura and I do to you. But if this is the last match that you ever wrestle, just know I have no guilt on my conscience whatsoever. So I just want you to know that. It's going to be kind of a fun month, and I'm probably going to have a lot to celebrate over the holidays. Stay tuned for the next This is CorbinCenter.